I'm Imran Bado. I graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 2023, and right now I'm at the Netherlands Cancer Institute studying unconventional strategies to target a form of pediatric cancer known as Ewing sarcoma.
Hello, my name is Tyler Burkhart, and I am a study grantee. I study the Human Decision Science Master's Program at Maastricht University, which is basically a combination of behavioral economics and neuroscience.
Hi, I'm Chuck Egley, and I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but I live in Washington, D.C. I am right now at TU Delft, studying flood risk management in the Faculty of Architecture and the Built Environment. So in particular, looking at this problem set from the perspective of a city planner, which is what I got my master's in from Virginia Tech.
This experience has taught me a lot of things. I think that the biggest lesson that I've learned is adaptability to different situations in a completely different environment. This is my first time abroad in general from the US. So it's really been a learning experience on how to adapt to a new culture, how to completely integrate myself into a new culture. And then also, one of the tenets of Fulbright is this cross-cultural exchange. So what I can give back as well in my perspective being from the US. So that adaptability and that ability to integrate into new situations.
I've had a couple takeaways from this year abroad, but I think the biggest thing is that when you're placed in a new community and have new people to interact with, you have to take the opportunity to go out of your comfort zone more than you normally would at home. It's very easy to get comfortable living someplace, even a new city, and then not see the things that are at home because you're not on vacation mode or tourism mode. And so I tried to be very intentional while I was in Maastricht about seeing the sites and having people come visit me so I could show them around, giving other Fulbrighters tours of the city so that I could appreciate it as more than just a place to live and a temporary home base.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things just really taught me to challenge my assumptions about things. I came to the Netherlands with a certain some preconceptions about attitudes toward flood risks and flood risk management in general, and it has been challenged in many ways. But I've also seen that while they have made a lot of progress in this field, they also share some of the same challenges, maybe kind of on different ends of the spectrum, if you will, but we do have this shared challenge together, and with that comes a lot of opportunity. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from each other on that.
It has definitely exceeded them. I didn't expect to find such a home in a completely different country. I knew that I had activities that I'd done in the US that I was able to immerse myself in here, specifically in dance and in playing the violin in a community orchestra, but really finding a network of people that I consider really close friends, family, has been something that I'll take back with me, and has completely exceeded the expectations I had for being able to integrate into the Netherlands.
It's definitely exceeded them. I expected my program of study to be very interesting and really had no idea how I was going to be able to interact with other Fulbrighters, because the Netherlands isn't very big, but Maastricht is very far away from Amsterdam and where most of the cohort is based. But through the couple of activities that have been organized by Fulbright, I had an opportunity to meet and befriend several of the other Fulbrighters, and we've traveled together a lot. And so not only has my field of study been interesting, there's fantastic research support at Maastricht University. I got what I wanted to out of the academic side. I'm also leaving with friends, both Dutch and Fulbrighters, who I intend to stay in touch with, and I'm really excited about that.
Well, the Fulbright was a great, really opened doors for me in order to do the kind of research that I wanted to do. I couldn't have done this just independently, and so it really was this, for me, this way to open the door to the university that I'm at now with TU Delft and the people that I'm working with there, and also with that, the affiliation that I have with TU Delft. It's enabled me to have these conversations. Again, if I had been reaching out to these people independently or my own, I don't know that they would have been as receptive, frankly. But with the association with TU Delft and also with the Fulbright, both of which are very reputable organizations, have a lot of credibility going with them, I was able to just really engage with these people in a way that I don't think I really would have otherwise.
Number one piece of advice I have is to make sure to go out and intentionally engage with communities that exist where you're living when you come on a Fulbright. I think my most memorable moments are the ones that come from those connections I built with people who are local. So I joined a local fishing club and occasionally see the same older men who are they're more in their 40s and 50s. We don't have that much in common, but we enjoy fishing, and it's a really cool opportunity to get together with them. Even just some other Dutch university students, it's been an opportunity to see parts of the country I never otherwise would have interacted with.
This is going to be more practical advice. Definitely find out huisarts before a GP before you get sick. It can be a nightmare to look for a GP when you're already down on your luck, when you're already sick and everyone's full and you can't find a GP en passant. So you really should start looking as soon as you get here. And then more advice in terms of integration is, like I said before, find something that you've done in the US that you can do here, whether that be a sport, whether that be if you play an instrument, if you're in the visual or performing arts. There are a lot of opportunities for dance companies and just community activities that you can do. And I found that as a good stepping stone into finding my community here.
Well, I would say one, savor this experience. Coming at the end of my time here, and it's gone by really quickly. Some of the other thing I would say is take advantage of the opportunity to network. I mean, you're going to meet really interesting people who are doing really interesting work that's relevant to what you're interested in. So lean into that opportunity. And then finally, I would just say that there's just culturally speaking, there's just so much going on. I could have done a dozen things every weekend. I always had to kind of choose which ones to pick. And so I'd say be aware of what's coming down the pike, what's going to be on the calendar, and plan accordingly.
Do it.
The biggest advice is that you need to focus on why the Netherlands specifically, what about the country stands out to you in terms of giving you this opportunity for cross-cultural exchange. Why in your specific discipline is it important for you to be in the Netherlands as opposed to anywhere else in the world? And also just think about your own personal motivations. Why do you feel like the Netherlands would be a good fit for you, and why you'd be a good fit here in whatever you're doing for your Fulbright.
So I would say one, start the process of finding the person who's going to sponsor you early. Maybe not every grant is the same, but with mine, I had to find a professor at TU Delft to essentially agree to sponsor me, to advise me, to be my supervisor. I started that a little bit later than I should have, admittedly. Fortunately, I did find someone, and it's worked out really well. But that's definitely, at least for mine, I had to do that in order for this to actually happen. So start that process early, and keep in mind too that in the summertime, a lot of them are on breaks. So it's not the ideal time to try to reach out to them, because you might get an out of office message saying they're not back for a month or something like that. So definitely keep that in mind. I would also say, just like if you're applying for a job, really know the grant description, and just you need to tailor your application to answer everything that's being requested in that, so that you're really the person that they're seeking for that opportunity. And also at this final, I'd say reach out to former grantees. That was also a wealth of knowledge for me, just as far as what I needed to do. There's a whole, this information is out there, people who have also been recipients of these grants in the past, so I'll reach out to them and ask your questions of them.
It's gonna sound like a not so great experience, but it was amazing in that a couple weeks ago I was at a brink of mental, physical, and emotional exhaustion I never thought I could reach in my life. And it was because I was so busy doing things outside of work. I was so busy doing things in support of people I care about and things that I love to do that I just tired myself out. And it was first starting that I was wanting to support my friends doing a half marathon. in Leiden, and I knew that in order to get there by the time that they finished, I had to either be there very early or I had to find a way to be in Leiden that morning. And I'm not a morning person, so I went with the latter. And luckily, one of my friends had just moved to Leiden with her boyfriend, so I took that as an opportunity to check out their new place, help them make dinner, hopefully crash on their floor. And after sleeping on 2 yoga mats, getting 2 hours of sleep, I was up bright and early for the half marathon. And it was really hot outside, surprisingly, for Dutch weather. And also I was in all black because I had an orchestra concert at the end of the day. So I went directly from walking 45 minutes to the finish line, saw them finish, spent 20 minutes, said hi, showed my poster, and then went directly to my orchestra concert, walking to the station because all the roads were closed. So it was another 45 minutes, played in the concert, went straight home, went straight to bed. And that, again, was a point of exhaustion I never thought I could reach. But it was also complemented with overwhelming gratitude for this experience, and really emblematic of me finding a home here, me finding a community where I could be so busy doing things outside of work and doing things that I love to do for people that I love.
It's really hard to piece together one experience, but I think what I'm going to tell them about generally is how interconnected the Netherlands is and how many opportunities there are to travel by train, and probably just piece together all of the stories I have of traveling with other Fulbrighters. One of my goals for the year was to visit all 12 of the Dutch provinces and the provincial capitals, and most of those trips I took with 1 or 2 other members of the cohort. And so probably sort of stitch all those stories together and tell about my giant road trip via train in the Netherlands.
Well, I got 2. I'll probably come with more, but one is just biking around and walking around some of these project sites that I only read about, and it was just such a cool experience to actually see these things in real life, and just there's nothing like actually being there in person and seeing those things and talking to the people who participated in them. I mean, it's back in the U.S. it's going to be a world away, right? So I think I'll always think about that, be able to tell family, grandkids maybe about some of these unique experiences that I had as part of those overall opportunities. And this, finally, I would say too, I really savored the time when I finally was able to converse in just a little bit of Dutch at the market, say, where I was, they still were convinced that I was an actual Dutch person. Usually in the beginning, the game was up pretty quickly when I couldn't respond to them, but eventually I was able to get enough skills that they thought I was Dutch when I was ordering my kibbeling or stroopwafel or something like that. So that was a cool experience for me.
The weather is so unpredictable. I was raised in Florida, so I can do rain. Rain is fine. Wind is fine. But wow, definitely invest in a nice raincoat, and never trust any apps because it can be very unpredictable. And also don't kind of brush off when people say take your vitamin D supplements, get a sun lamp, because in the winter it can be kind of brutal. But in the summer it's really nice because you feel like you have the whole day every day, and the sun will be in your face at 5:30 a.m. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And you can be up until 10 p.m. and it's a beautiful thing. So,
I mean, it's so easy to bike here. I'm somebody who enjoyed biking before I came to the Netherlands, and I did bike around in the US and in college, but you really have to go out of your way. It's an inconvenience. The system is set up here where most of the time dikes have the right of way, and it's just sort of a presumed default. So you have to find a bike, either rent a swap feeds or purchase a bike while you're here, and at least try out for a month or two having biking be your primary mode of transit, because there's no other place in the world to fall in love with biking like the Netherlands. And it makes sense why everyone bikes here once you get the opportunity to do it.
Well, I think the funny thing was it goes back to the challenging of the assumptions, and they say that the Dutch weather is pretty poor, but as you can see, it's a spectacular day, and we've been really lucky with the weather while I've been here. So that's worked out really well. I can't promise it'll always be like that. People who are saying this is not normal. The directness, maybe it's just because where I come from, but I was kind of used to the behavior. There were some cases where maybe someone was a bit more direct than I would have liked, but pretty few and far between those kinds of experiences. So I think Dutch people are pretty friendly actually, and you know, people I could yeah, just work with and get along with, so no issues there. And also the food, I really enjoyed the food. Is not something that the Dutch are necessarily known for, but I really enjoyed, you know, going to the cheese vendor at the local market and finding like my favorite cheese, you know, over multiple trips going there, eating stroopwafel, kibbeling. I love kibbeling. I'm gonna miss kibbeling when I go home. Yeah, there's some other things that I'm forgetting. Food, oh, Indonesian food too. I mean, it's not Dutch food, but you know, there's a lot of it here, so enjoy that if it's your thing. I guess the one thing that, oh yeah, the one thing that did surprise me was just like the interest, the intense interest in the United States, especially when it comes to politics. Went to the election night back in November when it was election, you know, presidential general election back in the United States, and I was just really surprised that it was like 90% Dutch people at this thing. I thought it would be mostly Americans there, but we were in the minority there. I was just really kind of yeah, surprised to see how interested Dutch people are in what's going on in the U.S.
Ik spreek geen Nederlands.
Eat smakelijk, which means enjoy your meal. And you can also think of it something like bon appetit. And so something to keep in mind, especially as you're out there enjoying, you know, stroopwafel or cheese or kibbeling or any other thing that you might find in the market or elsewhere. That's it.
Success for all of the prospective applicants and current Fulbrighters.